this morning we have a guest named Joel Salomon. I hope I said that right. I'm going to read a bit of his bio and then we'll get started. Joel Salomon is a prosperity coach who helps others overcome obstacles standing in the way of their financial freedom. In 2021, Joel published personal money management bestseller, Infinite Love and Money with Molly Singh. In 2019, Joel published The 9 Money Rules Millionaires Use, Only the Unconventional Ones, which was a bestseller in both self-help and in personal finance. In 2018, he published Mindful Money Management, Memoirs of a Hedge Fund Manager, which is also a bestseller. I guess you've been pretty busy, Joel. Joel is an award-winning TEDx speaker and frequent podcast guest. He has led over 20 workshops teaching the concepts of how to overcome limiting beliefs. He has spoken at numerous Rotaries and Lions clubs in the New York metropolitan area and in Mercy College's MBA program, as well as Mike Dooley's Infinite Possibility trainings in New Orleans in March of 2018 and again in 2021. He has led workshops at the Girl Scouts of America Conference in Connecticut in 2019 and in 2022, as well as the Boys and Girls Club in Stamford, Connecticut in 2018 and 2019. Well, welcome, Joel.
Thank you so much for having me, Jill. It's really a great pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. I believe we met on, was it the guesting platform? Was it that we met on?
Yeah.
Yep. And it's neat. We always put out gifts at various times so we can. And one of my gifts is that somebody can be a podcast guest. And Joel says, I'm going to take her up on that. And we've been in this process coming here. So tell us a little bit about where you started from, Joel.
Oh, thank you again. So first of all, I like to say everything I do is for my daughters. So my company name Salomon is named after my daughters, Lauren and Morgan. So L-A-U-R for Lauren, M-O-R for Morgan. And actually, Lauren's not too far from you at Syracuse University these days. So I started my career. It's been a long career in finance. And I started my career as an actuary. Some of your listeners may know what an actuary is. I say the difference between an actuary and an accountant is an actuary looks at his feet when he talks to you. An accountant looks at your feet when they talk to you. But what I did was I was working at an insurance company calculating the premium that you have to pay for your disability or life insurance or annuity policies. I really didn't like it, to be open with you. And I had a dream to be a money manager. And I reached out to many actuaries on Wall Street, and they all gave me doubt, massive doubt, a ton of rejection. They basically said, just stay where you are. You have a good job. In fact, the actuary was on the cover of Forbes magazine in 1992 as the best job in the United States. But I wasn't happy, and I really wanted to become a money manager. And I finally found one actuary who gave me his path. And I followed it mostly. And 15 years later, I was working at a small hedge fund. And then 4 years later, I had my own portfolio at Citigroup that I was managing. Started out at $300 million of stocks that I was managing, and I did pretty well. And then at the peak, it was 700 million. We were all laid off in 2012 when there was a law passed that said banks can't own hedge funds. And so that gave me the kick in the butt to start my own fund. And I might actually still be doing that. Had an epiphany, which led me to become a prosperity coach, as you mentioned. to help people become financially free and to change people's mindset around money and to help them manifest financial abundance in their life.
Okay. And listeners out there, I just hang in there with you. If you follow the market and all of this, terrific for you. But we haven't ever brought a financial person on our program before, and we wanted to bring not only his knowledge, but his epiphany kind of changed a lot of things, and now it's changing a lot of lives. So we wanted to bring that to you and at least offer you the information. And once you get started talking to this guy, you might find all kinds of synchronicities. You never know. Could you explain a little more about what you're calling your epiphany?
Sure. So in December of 2015, I went to a personal development course, and two things happened there that completely changed my life. So the first thing was we had a guest speaker speaking for, it was a 3.5 day course. And we had a guest speaker speaking for 1 hour about what I know intimately, stocks and stock options. And I stuck around to listen to what he had to say. And when he was speaking about stock options, he made it sound easy. He said, you don't need much time. You don't need much money. This is how the rich people get rich. And options are essentially risk-free. And I was sick to my stomach. I had people tapping me on the shoulder, whispering me, Joel, does this make sense? Are options really risk-free? So after he was done, we went out of the auditorium. I told him, please don't do this. He has no idea about any of you individually. He doesn't know your earnings or cash flow or tax status or risk tolerance. And most importantly, he doesn't know your belief that you can become rich using options. Now, the second thing that happened at that course was we were given a wooden board 2 inches thick. Well, here's part of the wooden board. I'll show you more in a second. And the exercise was called Obstacles Are Illusions. And on one side of the board, we had to write our biggest obstacle. And then on the other side of the board, our ultimate goal, which stumped me for a while. And then it hit me. Making everyone here financially free. Making everyone here financially free. And then I broke that board like everyone else did in that room that day. And I went home that night and I couldn't sleep. First, the guy was in my head. And I realized if I could ever get up the courage to speak on a stage in front of 200 people like he was. See, my biggest fear that day was public speaking. And if I could ever get up the courage to speak on a stage, I could be authentic, tell people the truth about money, and be of service. And then the second thing going on in my head at 3:34 in the morning was that wooden board. It was staring back at me across from my bedroom, making everyone in this room financially free. And then it hit me. And I jumped out of bed. I quickly got dressed. I was at my office in Midtown Manhattan before the sun rose. And I sent an email to my investors telling them I'm giving them their money back. I'm shutting down my fund. I figured out my true purpose in life.
Wow. Let's just give them a minute to let that sink in. And I will speak to my listeners there a second here. Have you ever had one of those moments? Sometimes it comes with flashing lights and all of that. And sometimes it's a mild thing, and sometimes they show up in the middle of the night. And so there was quite a turnaround to be that invested in numbers, all your training, all your experience, and yet it didn't really feel great. And it turned around with the crack of a board. And one thing I wanted to share with my audience is in my other room, I have a board just like it, only mine was to reach out to you women. So, and I broke it also. So we found that kind of interesting when we were talking. I wonder if it was the same guy speaking. I don't know.
I'd have been, yeah.
Yeah, well, mine was at a Mary Kay lesson, so I didn't. He sure
Oh
didn't
no,
talk
yeah,
about socks.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So you changed directions. It took a little more than overnight to change, but you got it on that path. And then where'd you go from there?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm writing a book now with a purpose coach called Purpose and Prosperity. And look, I'm not suggesting everyone just like shift whole hog, right? Like you, it'd be good to have a safety net, to have some savings. I did. I had a lot of savings, so I could just let go. And I didn't. This business, this prosperity coaching business, didn't, turn on a dime. It wasn't like I was making hundreds of thousands of dollars back in 2016, right when I shut down my hedge fund. It took some time, but I knew it was coming from my heart, and I just wanted to help people. And so when I started out, I just set up a meetup group, from meetup.com. And I just started meeting people in person and asked them what their money problems were and how I could help them. We started with a group setting, and we went around and everyone just talked about what their dreams were, what their financial freedom number is. I helped them calculate it, and we talked about how they could get there. And it was like group coaching. And eventually I got into doing programs, and obviously you talked about how I've been speaking. After my first book came out, I started speaking at different Rotary clubs and Lions clubs, and just trying to help people in small groups. And ultimately now I coach people one-on-one, uh, specifically for investing or for business coaching. I have a membership where it's called the Money Miracles membership, and my members have literally manifested over $1,742,000.
Wow. And I want to back up just a little bit. You said that thing on the front side of your board was, you were afraid of public speaking. And you talk about going to the Lions Club and the Rotary Club. That was part of a program. Could you explain that in case anyone else out there is in the same boat? Go ahead.
Yeah, yes, definitely. So I didn't go from my biggest fear being public speaking right to the Rotary clubs. So my mentor, Mike Dooley, when I went to a course with him in 2016, had explained how his biggest fear was public speaking as well. And he recommended Toastmasters. So in January of 2017, I joined Toastmasters, which is a volunteer group where you can speak for 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, and improve your speaking. You get critiqued by people in the room, and they're very supportive. They're all also have big fears of public speaking. That's why they're there. And so I spoke pretty much every week for 2 years. I gave over 100 speeches. Sometimes I spoke twice in one day. And that really helped because they were critiquing me, giving me pointers, and teaching me how to make eye contact and shift your body language and how to use PowerPoint presentations and smile and all that. So there's a lot of great tips. Use gestures, and so on, so that you become you resonate more with the audience. And so I learned all those appropriate techniques over a 2-year period, and got to a point where I was an advanced communicator gold, Toastmaster when I left Toastmasters in 2019.
Very good. And that reaching that 100 speeches in a year, that's kind of a goal that Toastmasters puts out there. Is if you've done it that long, you're starting to get over the jitters and starting to get the cycle and the confidence to go with it. So
Yeah, I even got pushed to do a Toastmasters speaking contest, which was beyond what I could ever imagine doing in 2015 or 16, or even the beginning in 2017. And I actually got an award at that speech contest, which was pretty amazing to me because, just a couple of years early, I if you had asked me to speak in front of more than two people, I would have said, just shoot me.
Oh, well, you have spoken much more than just in front of two people. I see that you're also a TEDx speaker, so you certainly did learn your craft. Could you tell me how did you get into that and some of the little detail of it?
Yeah, synchronicities come up in my life a lot, as you already mentioned, Jill. And so what happened was I wasn't thinking about doing a TEDx talk, but two or three people in my network who were also infinite possibilities trainers mentioned to me that I should after hearing me speak. And I just kind of like blew them off. I didn't really think about it much. And then two of them had recommended the same coaching program. And then when a third out of the blue recommended it again, and I started seeing online this guy, Taylor Conroy, I said, you know what? It seems like it's the right time. So in the beginning of 2022, I signed up for this coaching program, and it was really, really helpful. It got me to create a speech that would resonate with audiences, and also helped us to apply to different sites around the globe. And so, excuse me. So I joined that program, and it was it was really helpful. I applied to 38 different venues and got accepted at two. And um, early this year, in April, my TEDx talk went live. How to create money miracles. And I give two specific techniques that you can use to create more financial abundance in your life. So I highly recommend listeners check it out. How to create money miracles. Obviously, it's free. We have over 50,000 views so far. So I'd love to help more people. Yeah, help another 50,000 people using these two techniques to become more financially free and financially abundant.
Okay, well, congratulations on the TEDx. That's quite a number of views and certainly shows your progress along the way. Uh, you talked about a few minutes ago about being in a group of people and just kind of going round circle, ask them what their questions are about money or problems or whatever. Um, if you were to do that now, what might be some of the basic ones just anybody could have?
So can you repeat the question? I'm not sure what
Sure.
you're asking.
Yeah, you spoke earlier how you did a little group coaching style where there was a bunch of people in the room. If you were to repeat that experience, what kinds of problems would typical people present to you?
Oh, I see. Yeah. So there's a very common problems with mindset, right? I can't afford that. Money doesn't grow on trees. That's too expensive. That's a very common limiting beliefs that people have around money. And what we do is what I teach in my group courses, my membership, one-on-one coaching is belief is actually rule number one in the 9 Money Rules Millionaires, who's my second book, When You Believe. So what do you believe about money? What do what were you taught growing up around money? Do you believe that it's there's a limited amount of it? It's not true. There's actually $475 trillion of net worth of businesses and individuals around the globe. There's
Wow.
almost an infinite amount of abundance. And by the way, that was $1 trillion just 120 years ago. So the world has created over $400 trillion in the last 120 years. I can't even conceive of that number. But the point is, there's so much abundance out there, and we generally are limiting ourselves by not asking for it, believing that we can have it, And I believe we're all special. We all have talents. We all have abilities. We all have creativity. And we may have been taught or heard from some well meaning family member or teacher or coach may have said something to you critical and lowered your self esteem. You may not feel worthy. A lot of my clients have worthiness issues. They're not charging the right amount for their programs, for what they're teaching others, because they were taught growing up that they're not worthy of massive wealth. And so a lot of these issues come up, and I work with my clients, with affirmations, with the audio files, with a lot of things that they can use to techniques like acting as if. So why not act as if what you want to happen has happened? Maybe you want a new car or a new home or a vacation. You could, for a new car, you could research, you could go online and even test drive the new car. For a new house, you could start house hunting. Right? You don't actually have to buy anything, but you could actually take pictures even and put it on a vision board of the house that you want, or a vacation home, or just going on vacation. You could go online and check out how much it is to get to the island of Maldives. What is the cost of the airline? What are the cost of the resorts? And take pictures of them and put them on a vision board and think about that. Visualize. By the way, rule number 4 in the 9 money rules is visualize. Think about what you want to happen for 5 minutes a day. Just close your eyes and feel yourself being on the island of Maldives with the turquoise waters and this white sandy beaches, and it's 85 degrees Fahrenheit, and you're feeling blissful and happy, and you hear the seagulls and the waves, and you're just feeling so much bliss. You can do all that as acting as if it's about to happen.
Right. And the more sensual you get with your senses, the better you can get that creative picture, and the better that mindset helps you. It's not like waving a magic wand. What would you say to somebody in your audience told you that?
Well, absolutely. You have to take action. You have to take action every day. So move in the direction of your dreams. Now, visualizing is taking some action, but you have to take some action like getting out into the world, talking to people. I talk to a prosperity coach. I give everybody 30 minutes free. So come to me if you have some interest in creating your dream. I give everything, no obligation beyond that. Just come to me, and people have been helped in 30 minutes. You just never know. So, take a baby step in the direction of your dreams. And what I tell people is I don't know any billionaires, and I know some billionaires and I've met them, but I don't know any billionaires who just sit at home and meditate and visualize all day, right? You have to get out into the world and take action. And when it's inspired action, when you're getting some download, like, oh, I should write a book. I can help people more by writing a book, maybe, than by speaking to 200 people. I can get access to hundreds of thousands of people by writing a book. Maybe I should give a speech, a TEDx speech, and get access to 50,000 people, because it's really hard to speak in front of 50,000 people. But if I do a TEDx speech and it's on YouTube on the TED.com platform, I can reach a lot more people that way. And maybe even if 1,000 of those 50,000 people become financially free, that would just, warm my heart immensely. Like, I've been able to help 1,000 people become financially free.
Thank you. And there is the reward side, that the fulfillment side of seeing what you envisioned and be watching it become a reality.
Absolutely. Rule number 6 in the 9 money rules is giving. And I say that it really does create a different feeling when you're giving from your heart. And there's a quote in the book from John Templeton. Some say he was the best investor of all time. And John Templeton started the Templeton funds with just a few $1,000s. And he sold the Templeton funds to the Franklin mutual funds for almost $1 billion. in the 1990s. And he said he hadn't met anybody who hadn't given at least 10% of his earnings each year over a 10-year period to some charity who didn't have massively more wealth at the end of the 10 years than at the beginning.
Wow.
I know what some of you are thinking, Joel, if I give my money away, I have less money, not more money. How does that work? And what I'll tell you is money is just energy. And by putting it out into the world, it must come back to you. And in my experience, it's come back multiple times. But when you're giving from the heart, not giving when you feel like it's required, but you're not like going into your shopping center and they're asking you to round up and you're like, oh, I guess I should, I'm supposed to. That's not giving from the heart. Find a charity, find an organization that really resonates with you, and then give to that. And then when you're giving from the heart, watch the money flow change.
Could you share the story about your mom in the nursing home and her mail pile? Her pile with the mail beside her bed?
Oh, yes. Yeah. So my mom is now an assisted living center, but she's been giving to various charities throughout her life. And so she'll get, every week she'll get 20 different letters from all the different types of charities she's given to. So American Cancer Society, the multiple sclerosis, diabetes, on and on and on. And so like every week when I go there and I visit her, and we decide like which charity she's going to give to this week. So she's been doing this her whole life, and it's, she's not giving, you don't have to give huge amounts, right? It's like, what is resonating with her this week? It's okay, I'm going to give $10 to this charity because she really wants to help those people in need, right? And so that's what I talk about, inspired giving, right? It's not like I'm giving because I'm required to give. She's doing it. She'll get the March of Dimes, and the March of Dimes is giving her a dime every week. So she'll get like, she'll get 40 cents every month from the March of Dimes because she's giving, $10 to $25. She'll get, the law of reciprocity. I don't know if you know the law of reciprocity, Jill. So like what happens is like a lot of these charities will give her like return address stickers so we don't have to like write the return address, or they'll give her like holiday cards. Like right around this time of year, she gets like 50 or 100 holiday cards from all these different charities because she's given so much over the years. So yeah, just it warms my heart to like see that happening, because she's been doing this forever. I remember when I went to my parents' house when my dad was still alive, and like the same thing would happen. They'd have all these letters from all the different charities they'd given to over the years.
Okay. Well, we're getting close to the end. That was really a good story. Is there one last tip, one last thought that you could give to our ladies, and just heart to heart?
I think the most important thing I found in my journey is doubt the doubt. So have faith in your dream. Don't have faith in your doubt. All day long, people are doubting you, right? And so know that you can have your dream, right? Have faith in that dream. When I was going on that journey from actuary to money manager, I explained I got a lot of doubt. A ton of people gave me doubt. And so that's why it took so long, because I started doubting myself. When other people start doubting you, that gets in your head and you start thinking, oh, maybe they're right, but they're not right. Right? If you have that dream, have faith in the dream, and write down what you want. Act as if what you want to happen has happened, and you can achieve your dreams. You really, really can. So hashtag doubt the doubt. Have faith in the dream. And I just want to share one more thing. I have a really special video called How to Ease Your Money Worries. If you're ever worried about money, so this is absolutely free. If you just text to the number 66866 prosperity, some say it's my middle name, So Prosperity, PROSPERITY, to the number 66866. It'll ask for your email and you'll automatically get that free video, How to Ease Your Money Worries, giving you 2 specific things you can do to, when you're most feeling worried or lacking or feel scarce, do these 2 things and it will completely change your money feelings.
Very good. Well, thank you. And it's been interesting. And we learned all kinds of new things today. So thank you for being my guest. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.